Hello, everyone, and let me introduce you to our presenter today, Wendy Buchanan. She has been recognized as the eyewear image expert, and she is the licensed optician. She's also an image consultant and educator. Wendy, in 1997, actually started her passion for people and her love of the image world and combined that together, and also her optical training, combined that all together to launch her one of a kind eyewear styling service in Toronto in 1997. She has been recognized as the trailblazing entrepreneur for women in Canadian optical, and she's also the founder and creative force behind Perception Eyewear. That's a mobile eyewear boutique. Wendy also have 20 years of hands-on experience in styling men and women, and her approach is totally unique toward matching eyewear to the clothes, the color, the facial feature. And that's what laid the foundation for what we are learning today, which is the Be Spectacular eyewear styling program, which she started in 2007. She was nominated for the 2018 Women of Influence Award for her innovative three-step eyewear styling process. She shares this program online with her peers and also globally speaks at international conferences for opticians and image consultants. I remember Wendy from the AICI Global Conference in Chicago in April 2019. A lot of you know that I have traveled to the US, and that event was attended by 300 plus image consultants and stylists from across the world. And I remember this area in the exhibition area, and her stall used to be always overcrowded. Everybody wanted a consultation. And by the end of 3 days, I think almost every third consultant was wearing Wendy's glasses. So, so that's what Wendy's magic is. And today we have her today with us as a presenter. So welcome, Wendy, and over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. And thank you all for joining us and taking a bit of time out of your evening to share this. I met both Sonia and Ashwin in Chicago and had some great conversations. And so I can't tell you how excited I am to be working with them and the Indian School of Image Management. So I want to kind of dive right in because I know we have a short time together. I want to give you as much information as I can about the program, about how it could help you build your business and maybe share some of my stories with you. And at the end, we're going to have a great opportunity for any questions that you have specifically about the program that hopefully I can answer on our time together today. If we run out of time, then I'm going to invite you to reach out to Sonia and have a conversation about the program. So a lot of you, I believe, are image consultants. I think some might be opticians, and welcome. We know styling clothing that there is an emotional connection to the clothes that we wear and how we feel in them. When we get that skirt, if that's our elegant styling, we get that beautiful skirt with the fabulous handbag, we're going to feel powerful and feminine. Of course, the glasses are sexy and soft. And then, has anybody ever put on that jacket? You know, when I have like a certain designer, and when I put on that jacket, I actually stand a little bit taller. It might be for men that worn in fabulous leather jacket. Or you might feel a little more carefree, relaxed when you put on a pair of jeans. So we do have that emotional connection. And I can tell you that trying to find eyewear, clients tell me, is just as frustrating and nerve-wracking for them as trying to find that great fitting pair of jeans or a swimsuit. So trying to really capture the garment that says who we are and helps us feel good, the same applies to all of our accessories, especially eyewear. Because eyewear is one of the most visible fashion accessories. So you think today all you get to see is me. kind of the shoulders up with my eyeglasses. And then for sure, especially stylists will look down at the shoes. So we're looking here first, we're making that connection with either our audience if we're on a video call like today, or if we're just meeting a client for the very first time, they're connecting with us through our eyes. So the eyewear becomes that first fashion accessory. And then we're going to glance down and look at the boots. So today I didn't need to put on boots. You're not going to see me standing, but for me to feel good, confident, and put together so that I can, forget about me, I did put on boots. So, and I have to show you because they match. So these, I think, in my opinion, are the two big fashion, sorry, I have to get my boot back on. Two big fashion accessories. They're part of our identity. They're just like our hair and how we put into what our hairstyle is, and sometimes change that according to the outfit we're wearing, whether it's business or a gala event or just going out for dinner on the weekend. So glasses can make you feel great. There's an emotional connection. I've seen it happen with clients where I've been working with them. I've put on a pair of frames and they've actually changed their body language and they've stood taller and kind of created an attitude. And one client specifically had this whole transformation happen in front of a full-length mirror and then handed the glasses back and said, no, I could never do that. And I'm like, you absolutely can do that. And I explained to her what I just saw happen by simply changing her eyeglasses. So imagine if you could create that eyewear styling consultation for your clients that made them feel authentic or powerful or confident and happy. Like this lady looks happy wearing her glasses. I've seen that emotional change happen over and over again. And so they embrace their look and we're helping people make a transformation. So maybe you've already worked with them, you have their colors, you have their wardrobe, and now you're on to their eyewear. This can be kind of the icing on the cake for them. And it's also another reason to connect back with your audience too, to offer them a new service, to make contact again, to build a bigger and better relationship with them. I love Elton John, of course. What an array of eyewear he has. That's on my goal list, just to get into his closet. But when Elton John started his career way back, he was unknown. And so in order to get people to talk about him and come out to his shows, he created this persona on stage with these wild costumes and the outrageous eyewear, just to simply market himself and get people talking about him. And I relate to him in so many ways as being an entrepreneur, starting a new business, trying to market myself. And when I started my company in 1997, I actually, if I kind of back up a little bit, I worked in the optical industry for 10 years. I worked in traditional optical stores as a licensed optician. And after a while, I just became bored with the process, the environment. I wasn't excited about my job anymore because I was just simply fitting eyewear for function. So it wasn't fun for me. So I went on to become an image consultant and actually started my styling business on the side. And what happened as the more that I worked with clients, I would have them say to me, we'd get all this great look, and then they put on their old glasses, and it was like, oh, those don't work anymore. And they said to me, well, you're an optician. Why don't you get me some nice eyeglasses? So that was really my aha moment. So after I would say it was only maybe 6 months in, I decided that I would just specialize in eyewear and be a stylist simply for eyewear because I had the optical background. So as I built my business, I started to see patterns in the style of eyeglasses that people would wear or that looked best on them based on the colors in their wardrobe and the styling of clothing that they liked. So I created my own system. First of all, it was intuitive. I just started to go through the process and ask certain questions. But once I could categorize them, I knew I had a system. And it was exciting to see how I was able to transform them. So in 2007, after 10 years of styling probably over 1,000 clients, I put my system into a process. And once I started consciously following my own process, my business took off. I was already 10 years in, but this was like the big pivotal move for me because now I was going through a step-by-step process with my clients. And now what happened was they started to buy 2 and 3 and 4 pairs of eyeglasses because I could show them why they worked for different outfits, different scenarios. So Dr. Viv is a great example. He's a surgeon, and he came to me because he said, I've been out there, I can't find anything that really says who I am, that's really me. And he said, they don't even ask me any questions. They just put on whatever's trending, and it doesn't feel good. So he said, I need your help. And we ended up fitting 3 different frames that he could wear. Sometimes he's giving presentations in the medical field. He's in the hospital doing his rounds, and he's now become known as the doctor with the cool eyeglasses in his hospital because he has 3 pairs and he changes them up daily depending on what he's doing that day. So once I became conscious of the process and followed the step-by-step system, I was actually able to be better at my business doing my own process, which kind of sounds silly. So glasses, we've mentioned, are just as important as the shoes that we wear. They are that fashion accessory. And when I went in to see this client, she specifically said to me, I've got these 2 new pairs of shoes I guess we were going into the spring at that time, and I want if all my glasses match these 2 pairs of shoes, they'll be good with all my outfits. So we worked from these shoes, and we ended up getting her 6 pairs of glasses and 2 pairs of sunglasses. So she was wardrobed for the entire season, and this would actually take her right into fall, winter as well. So we know that glasses are that key component to style and image and matching it. But it's also true that 3 out of 4 people need to wear eyeglasses simply to be able to see, for functionality. So we have a huge market to start to serve and really help them style and feel that emotional connection with their eyewear so that they can go out and be and do what they are in their world. So I found this interesting research, an article that was in Fortune India back in December 2018, and it was Wazer, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, Wazer Advisors. And they said, as consumers become increasingly conscious about fashion and brands, the growth of the branded eyewear sales is expected to be in the range of 15 to 18% a year. They also said that prescription-based eyewear makes up 70 to 80% of total sales, then followed by sunglasses and contact lenses. So we have a huge market to cater to, a niche market that we could serve, and perhaps it's the first step in that someone needs new eyewear for function to be able to see, and they can reach out to you if you're a certified eyewear stylist to help go through that process and help them find eyeglasses. As we go, they go start maybe with that service, and then it opens up the conversation to talk to more people about all the other services that you offer. The bespectacled people need you, and we know that there are a lot of them. So the Eyewear styling consultations kind of goes through a three-step process. One being the spec style, which I believe is the number one thing in the three-step process, is that discovery of personality and who are they and what's the look that they want, and really kind of unraveling that personality for them. Then we go into face shape and facial features, because we do need to create balance and proportion on the face, but we also need to really laser focus on their facial features and what, as eyewear stylists, do we want to highlight. And then how do you create that elite client experience? And going through the process just makes you stand out, just doing that. It made me stand out, and I'd already been in business 10 years, and I was doing it intuitively. I'm going to touch, these are the 5 spec styles. We're not going to be able to go through all 5 of them today, but I am going to highlight a couple of them and maybe reference some of the other ones. But there's the subtle sophisticate, the daring dramatic, the natural, the inspired artist, and the elegant charmer. And they all have distinct personality traits. I started to see patterns in the professions that they were in and what their strengths were and why they were good at what they did. And that became the whole basis for building this program, was to actually see the similarities in the spec styles. So let's break out and go into subtle sophisticate. So Sophisticate overall has like a very neat, polished, but definitely on trend. This personality type, women will have the right eyeglasses to match their handbags, that match their shoes. They'll always be completely put together. The men don't have a lot of accessories, but their clothing is nipped and tucked and fitted well, and always well matched with colors as well. But when we think about it, men have maybe a belt and a watch, and of course their shoes. But again, I go back to that analogy. If they're wearing eyeglasses, it's their eyeglasses and shoes that are really going to tell others what their personality looks like. They usually tend to be more a serious, maybe corporate role. They are concise and detailed. I love it when I work with a subtle sophisticate, because we need to stay on time. They have an agenda. They have everything booked for the week, and they really don't like to move off of that. They like the order and they like the control. So they do tend to be good in banking and finance and investments, maybe politics, accounting, that detail-oriented personality. So their eyewear tends to have structure. There won't be crazy colors. There will be no asymmetry with this spec style. They'll want everything clean and neat on their face. So they will look at maybe smooth finished metals, or the combinations of plastic and metals that we see on this gentleman. They'll be maybe shiny plastic, but no more than 2 colors. And there will always be a softer edge. There won't be a hard, dramatic angle on their frame. So very clean cut. In contrast to that, we have the daring dramatic. And I purposely pulled these 2 because they are so different that you can truly see, I use a lot of those optical analogies, see, focus, a lot of, when we look at the woman V, you know, her camisole has a V neckline. Her shoes have created that V. Even her chin has more of a pointed look. And there is a correlation between face shape, facial features, and spec style for sure. I've seen it over 2 decades, and there is a correlation. So they're that high fashion, they're bold, striking. Men might have like a higher collared, fashion forward look. They have a strong presence just simply by walking into the room. So they're completely okay with their eyewear being bold, the center of attention. They might be in entertainment, they might be motivational speaker, entrepreneurial, interior design, anything like that. But we're always creating, if you look at the frames here on the man and the woman, 2 distinct looks, but in both, we're creating a strong horizontal line. So with the gentleman, it's actually very sharp angles, a bold, heavy look. And with the woman, fashion forward. So they will pick up, the daring dramatic will go with a new look or a new trend way before the rest of the people embrace it. And they might want animal print, they'll pull animal print in. They'll do this oversized look. So this is a remake of an aviator that men used to wear back in the 80s, and now women actually carry it off more so than men do. But it's creating that strong line across the top. So it's giving her that presence that she's after, and it probably, if I'm to guess, she could be tall. If she's not tall, this photo makes her appear tall. They will avoid anything that's light in color, anything that's too subtle, sophisticate styling. That would be way too boring for them. They would never wear a rimless frame because there isn't any styling in that. It's made to look like you're not wearing glasses. So they'll avoid anything that's understated. Color comes into spec style as well, and I'm sure a lot of you have already offer color analysis and have taken that training. If not, of course, you can get that at ISIM for sure. But color plays into spec style. So when we look at this, it's all low contrast coloring. When we compare it to complexion, hair color, eye color, they're blending more so, but they're actually kind of creating a softer look or maybe a more refined look. So subtle sophisticate would like this low contrast coloring. An elegant charmer, which we're not going to go into a lot of detail, but an elegant charmer is very soft and pretty and more elegant and luxurious. And so they may look at something like the crystal on your far left. So this plays into it. So knowing the colors that work best on your clients helps to get them to that wow. So just like looking for clothing where you'll kind of focus in on certain range of colors, we do that with eyewear as well. And I do tend to encourage people to move out of black and brown, because black and brown, I know there's this perception that, well, if I stay with a neutral black or brown, it's going to work with everything that I wear. But we could also find one of their power colors and it'll still work with all of their wardrobe if they're working within a certain color palette. So I encourage people to move out of black and brown if they want a more distinct look. And here's high contrast coloring. So high contrast coloring will create that very strong, powerful look, or it could create a playful look depending on color placement and combinations of color. So the woman on the left, that's definitely falls into more of a daring dramatic. High contrast colors with the purple and orange and more of a sharper angle. where on the far side, the round multicolored one plays to an inspired artist. More artsy, creative. The inspired artists they make up their own looks. They like to know what the rules are, but they don't necessarily want to follow them. So, as image consultants, we might say, oh, I don't know if I can work with this person because I recommend things and then they want to do something totally opposite. The purpose of our work, I believe, is really to let them know what the rules are and then be able to help them break it if it suits their personality. An inspired artist will love you. If you can work with the inspired artist, they're the ones that will talk about you all the time. And in the middle, a great combination, because our clients are never just one spec style personality. They're typically combinations of 2, sometimes 3. I kind of play with 4 as I move through the different events that I have to go to. So Sue Donnelly is also in the image business, and she's the photo in the middle. And so she's doing a bright color, a high contrast color to her complexion, but overall there's this feeling of softness which plays to her inspired artist. But then the high contrast color and the little bit of a lift, the little bit, I can use my mouse here, this little bit of an angle here creates some drama and a nice lift at the cheekbone. So kind of high contrast coloring moves between inspired artist and daring dramatic typically. So like Elton John, I built my business trying to get people to come to my show. Talk about me, come out to my show, talk about my eyeglasses, talk about the experience. And this is one image consultant who'd been fairly new in the business and was really trying to get her footing. And she got the program and started working with all the pieces of the puzzle. And this was what she sent me in an email one day. And not only did she send me the email, her client actually sent me the email as well. And she said, I've been in the image business for 2 years, and the Be Spectacular system has helped me break down barriers, talking about business capsule dressing to accessorizing with eyewear. I've never worked with men, and now men approach me for eyewear consultations. The system has helped me help my clients. When the system has helped, I can't even read, talking about me and referring their friends to me. So this specific client, after her experience with Dawn, went out and blogged and sent it out to her entire network. So if we can get our clients talking about us and referring and marketing for us, that helps us build our business, because there's more credibility listening about our service or hearing about our service from someone else. Now, how does face shape and facial features play into all this? And face shape is one of probably the most misunderstood pieces of the puzzle. It is important, but it's not important that we are absolutely perfect with the face shape. The system that I have, the Be Spectacular, works with 10 different face shapes, but it's very difficult to find people that fit specifically into being a perfect heart or a perfect oval or a perfect square. Typically, you'll see combinations of those face shapes, because we're working with people and every single person is different. But what the face shapes do is categorize them into angled or curved. And it's good to know a basic outline of your client's face so that you can give balance and proportion rules and talk to them about how you are creating that look as a piece of the puzzle. Not that we have to sit there and stare them down, but we are working with them, we're making notes, we're understanding what their face shape looks like so that we are better able to advise them on style and color placement. So then more things play into this, though. We look at the length of the face, the widest point, how wide is the widest part of the face, the shape of the brow, the shape of the eyes. What's the line that's created on the forehead? In this case, you know, the oval, this is more of a curved. Her chin is more curved. The eyes are more of an almond shaped, and the brow might be straight, but it probably goes more curved, and it's going to follow the forehead oftentimes, I find. Then we also need to look at scale. What's the bone structure look like? What does the body type look like? And often I'll find that the body, the face shape is mirror of the model. So if we looked at Iris just simply as a head and not as a whole person, would we think that these glasses look a little out of proportion? Maybe a little too big, makes her eyes go a little cross-eyed. But when we take in exactly who she is in a full-length body and we look at how she accessorizes, it's crazy, outrageous, bold, oversized accessories. To put anything small and understated on this woman would be a tragedy. It would be such a disconnect in how she looked. So it's really styling eyewear. We need to look in a hand mirror, but then we need to take that step back and really look at the whole person. When I told the story about the woman who, you know, her body language changed and she did this kind of look and she had her hands on her hips, that was a reaction to the eyewear that she needed to see. I could see it, but she wasn't able to see it. So if we put our clients in front of a full-length mirror and in part of the styling after we've narrowed down the face shape, they can start to see a correlation between perhaps the neckline that they wear in their tops or their jackets, and how substantial or dramatic or thick can we go on a frame based on the scale of their bone structure and their body type. So lots of things to consider when we're just styling a pair of eyeglasses. So this is why it becomes a process. So let's look at round and square as an example. Round and square have pretty much the same proportions. They have an equal distance vertically, usually, as they do horizontally. The difference being the round, obviously, everything is curved, and the square, we've got more of an angular jawline. Perhaps the lips are more straight when we compare them to a bigger, rounder lip. Eyebrows, one of the first things I always look at are the shape of the eyebrows, because with every face shape, we want the glasses to follow the shape of the brow and not work against it. So with the round and square, our fitting goal is actually to make the face just a little bit longer this distance. So by making it longer, we're making it a little more oval or a little more hexagon in the case of the square. We want to look at something, if we look on the square face shape here where my mouse is, something that's a little bit narrower, because then the distance from the frame to the jaw is lengthened. If we put something oversized on this face shape, we've now cut her into 3 distinct areas and we've chopped up her face and made it just a little bit shorter. I always say it looks like we put them in a vise and squished them down a little bit. So what not to wear? And I love this for a couple of reasons. So this does exactly what we just talked about not doing, right? Not putting a really big frame on someone that has a round, in this case, she has a rounder face shape. But if this person is inspired artist spec style or a daring dramatic spec style, they will want to create this look because it's trendy and it's fashion forward. So what I would do is explain to them exactly what's happening. So because your face shape is a little more round, what I want to do is lengthen the face. If we fit you with this frame, it's actually shortening you a little bit, but it's really honoring your more artsy, creative side of your personality. And then they can decide what they want to do. In this case, she obviously wears these glasses. She gave them a thumbs up and she went with it. But as stylists, we've at least given them information that explains the look, instead of saying, oh, this is trending, that looks good on you, or that doesn't look good on you, and then not explaining ourselves and giving ourselves credibility as the expert and the stylist. This is one rule. Remember I said with the round and the square, we want the frame to be as wide as the widest part of the face. What happens with this gentleman is this frame is a little too small. So it's actually stopping width-wise, whoops. It's stopping width-wise right here. And what happens when we go too small is we create weight in here. This is one of those rules that I rarely break. Even if they say, I love this frame, I want this frame, once I explain what's happening on their face with the added weight in the cheek area, so I compare it to wearing a pair of pants that are a size too small. They aren't slimming, they actually make you feel a little bit heavier. So if we get you in the right size and the right fit, you're just gonna feel good. So these are the details that we can communicate to our clients and then move them out, move them into something a little bit bigger or wider, I guess. And then let's look at the heart face. And I love talking about the heart face because the heart is one of the hardest face shapes to fit. So if someone comes to you and said, you know, I hate my glasses, I just bought them because I got tired of looking, I just needed to get it over with, so I just landed on these. And nothing I put on ever looks good on me, and they're frustrated. They may have a heart-shaped face because it is difficult. The widest part of the face that we need to fit is right across, you know, the forehead and at the eyes. Sorry, when I play with my mouse, I move that. I better stop doing that. But one thing, when I look at a heart-shaped face, is the eyes are big and the brows are arched and curved. So this is what we want to accentuate. We want to accentuate the big eyes. We want to make sure the frame is as wide as that widest part, but we don't want it to take over or draw too much attention with placement of color. So let's look here at a nice heart-shaped face. So there's the arched brow, nice big eyes. The face is a little bit wider across the forehead and then gently slopes down to the chin. How we want to fit that is keep a uniform color. So no placement of color where the bridge might be a different color or the temple's different. We want to keep it all one color. But what's so important with the heart shape is that this frame at the top follows the arch of the brow, dips down, and comes back up. That is crucial to opening up the eyes and allowing them to start making contact with their people in their business or whatever they are doing during their day. Look what happens when we don't do that. So beautiful heart-shaped face, all the same things, but now we've created this strong horizontal line on the face. It doesn't follow the shape of the brow. It sits too low. It's just cut off the beautiful eyes. And then look at the difference. Two very similar face shapes, one in a frame that just, do you think she feels great? Do you think there's an emotional connection? She almost looks a little bit angry. We don't want our clients angry. We want them happy. When they get compliments, this is like my favorite quote is, but when they get compliments, they talk about you. And that's how your name comes up in conversation and how they can refer you. So it's not just the compliment, it's the whole conversation that comes up around eyewear. Oh, there she is. If everybody knows Sonia, I love this photo. And part of the styling process is looking at the whole person. So once you have the knowledge of everything that's in the Be Spectacular program, you can almost start to analyze someone before you've even gone through the 3 steps. So when I look at Sonia in the white tailored suit, I see daring dramatic immediately because it's a white suit. How many people are going to pull off a white suit and then just gracefully walk into a room? The daring dramatic will do it. They'll feel confident. They'll feel empowered. The shoes, or if their boots, are pointy, so that's telling me there's some daring dramatic. The V, a little bit more of a V in her camisole is created. But look at what happens with her face shape. I see no strong angles in her face shape. Everything is soft, maybe a little bit hard, a little bit round. Again, our clients don't fall into a perfect category, but big eyes, curved brows, more of a rounded lip. So that, her face shape, her hairstyle, her facial features are indicating to me that there's elegant charmer there, which is, graceful and more feminine and soft and caring and open. And then her dressing style is telling me that there's a little bit of a daring dramatic. So immediately I'm thinking she's a combination of elegant charmer and daring dramatic before we've gone through the process. But you'll unravel that working with them so that they know you're both on the same page. They know that you get them, and that's part of building that experience and that relationship that gets them talking about you. So what I did was I went through my inventory and picked out a few frames that I would suggest or recommend for Sonia if she was my client and she was here, because you need to be with the person. If you're going to help them make change, you have to be with them. I've done this for 20 years, and the odd time I have to do something online with a Zoom, I can't help them make change unless I'm with them. That's what I figured out, because that's the secret ingredient to being that certified eyewear stylist, is creating that connection. So where I would go is I'd probably start down here and play to the elegant charmer. Light, pretty, it's kind of going to float across. If you notice, every frame I picked out dips at the bridge because of her face shape and facial features. Then I might try to move her into something that's still elegant, but a little more fashion forward because it's more of the newer rounded shapes. You can't see this maybe as clear, but there's a little bit of glitter there, which caters to the elegant. And then pulling this one here, we'll pull out and the white is dramatic. So imagine if I put on a pair of white specs when she's wearing this white suit in contrast to her complexion and her hair color, it would be absolutely gorgeous. So it's that conviction, that I know that I know that I know. They might be a little bit uncomfortable, but when you have the knowledge and the confidence, that's what helps move your clients to the next look, the next stage, their transformation. So what is the impact of spec style and design lines on the face? We can work with one face, but we can pull out all the different personalities. So we could move Oprah from the inspired artist, more relaxed, carefree look that we see here, to a more elegant, dressy, feminine, powerful look. Here we're using softer curves, but there's a lot of glitz. She's changed. So if we look at these three pictures that I'm going to show you, just look at the eyewear and the earrings will tell us so much about maybe what she's doing that day or the event that she's at. This, I believe, was probably an award show. This is a dressy frame, more of a black tie event. The teardropped earrings match the curve of the glasses. And then look what happens when we go completely against the grain. So here we're putting sharp angles on more of a rounded face, and it's creating drama. It's moving her into that daring dramatic spec style by simply changing her eyewear, because nothing else changed on her face. We're working with the same face. But look at what she did with the earrings. Change the earrings to more of a squared rectangle look to mimic the square glasses, so it's pulling it all together. So the old rules, if you've got round, go square, if you've got square face, go round, doesn't apply. What's important is the spec style that you're working with for your client. So very easy to move your client from that thinking of just one pair to multiple pairs when you can show them how it works with their wardrobe and the event they need to go to. Just look at the difference in the lipstick, a bolder lip with the dramatic, something a little more soft and feminine, with the softer lip when she's pulling out that elegant charmer. So the system gives you all the functional knowledge, but then how do you put all that together? And in this system is the package that you can use to create that. I've kind of put one here. So this is a package that opens up, and then you can create a specific customized package for your client. What's neat is you're following a system, which is the Be Spectacular system, but it's about you. So your branding, your contact information all goes on the back. So when they leave you, they're talking about you, they're showing the package. The shopping guide is there too, because once you're finished your eyewear styling consultation, you can offer a shopping trip and go out and actually shop with them and help them get that fabulous pair of glasses. So it's not only the compliment, it is the conversation that starts around eyewear. It's helping them have that emotional connection to their eyewear so that they can feel powerful, credible, confident, and happy, because when they have those positive emotional feelings, they'll stand taller, they'll forget about themselves. And that was probably the biggest thing I learned in image was once we put ourselves together, or we help our clients put themselves together, they can quit thinking about themselves and go out and be of service to others. So they don't have to worry about, are these glasses right? Or do my boots match? Is this shirt fitting me right? Is it the right color? You never have to think about it because you've already invested in yourself and put it together so you can go out and do what you do. The Be Spectacular program is meant to help you get people to come to your show, to get people to talk about you. And I loved the Be Spectacular, loved the word spectacular. I looked it up in the dictionary, and this is what it means. And I thought it was just so relevant to how we help our clients. So spectacular is an adjective. It means impressive, striking, dramatic, stunning, marked, grand, remarkable, fantastic, magnificent, staggering, splendid, dazzling, sensational, breathtaking, and my favorite was eye-catching when I saw that, because I'd already named the program, 10 years before I actually looked this up. So I did things a little bit backwards. But I think intuitively we know Because you're entrepreneurs, you know how to start your business, and then it's just how do you get the systems and processes together to actually go out and be successful and profitable. So the results have been spectacular. So I think now I can hand it back to Sonia, and then I can answer all of your questions for you.
All right. Thank you so much, Wendy. That was so amazing. And I just love my personal styles that you have created for me. They were just fabulous. And I just was, those white eyewear that you shared, that was just perfect. I think I'm going to get those.
They would be perfect on you.
Yes. I could just imagine my look. Now, when I look at that picture, it looks incomplete. All right, we have got a couple of questions from already, and there were a few questions which actually came in before we even started the webinar. So
okay.
I'm just going to go through them one by one. So the first one that I have received is how to reduce the roundness around my face with the glasses, and which shape will look best with the round face. So I think a lot of them really want to know about how to reduce the roundness with the eyeglasses.
So remember when I pulled up the round, and
right.
I'm just gonna go back
you covered
to it.
that, I guess, yes.
Yeah, because we actually covered that face shape, which is interesting. So
yes.
With the round, if we're looking here, what we want to do is work with the curves and with the angles, or with the curves, sorry. The biggest thing with round is make sure your frame is as wide as the widest part of the frame, or widest part of your face is one. Because if you go too small, it's going to, remember, add weight at the cheeks. So it needs to be wider in order to slim that. Again, that's like a key balance proportion for a round face shape. If you have some daring dramatic spec style, or the natural, or even the subtle sophisticate, we may add a little bit of angle to that. So again, it plays back to the personality type. It's not just a face shape and balance and proportion. It plays into the shapes we'll use will be dependent on what the spec style is, if that helps.
I think, yes, that answers the question. And yeah, we have another question which says, how do you style a combination face shape? And this is also was running in my mind, because I want to understand, means adding on to this question by Anita, where she's asking how to style a combination face shape. Maybe if you can share a few tips in terms of what is the thought process which you keep, or how the system helps you when you are working with your clients to style different face shapes, or if someone has a combination. Yeah.
And you're going to find probably 9 times out of 10 that they are combination face shapes. And even when I originally started doing workshops for the image consultants, we'd be in a room and there would, we'd have a face shape and everybody was seeing things a little bit different. So what we can do is break it down. Let me go. No, he's pretty much a good round. So this is he is a nice round shape. I'm trying to find one that maybe looks, well, let's go back to your photo, because I do see a little bit of heart here and a little bit of round. So the reason I see heart is just, even though there isn't the cute little heart, it does, the way that your hairstyle is in this photo makes me think that this is a little bit wider and then it narrows. But when I look more closely, my first impression is round.
Yes. So now, if you can see in the screen, it looks kind of more on the round.
Yeah. So I think one thing you want to do is, if I can, don't overthink it. Right. The system is going to give you specifics, but what you want to do when you're unsure is work with the facial features. So So if her, here, see, a lot of these are pretty good. This might be a little bit more oval with some roundness, but work with the facial features. So break it down to forehead, chin. Here we go. So when it's combination, start to take all of these things into consideration, which when you go through the program, they're going to touch on all of these. What is the shape of the eyes, the brow? So you might have a rounded forehead and an angled jawline. So we can actually cater to that in a frame style by choosing something that has a little bit of a curve and then more of an angle on the bottom, like maybe like a lift with a cat eye or a squared cat eye. So work with the facial features, which is more important than the overall face shape anyway. We want to know face shape in order to have a generalization, but the facial features are where you want to focus, because that's how you're going to make a difference on combination faces, and 9 out of 10 are probably going to be a combination.
That's really valuable advice, because those are the few things what we say that even I keep telling all the students that human beings are not built in templates. So we don't have we don't have a defined template that everyone will. So the best way to approach it is to learn all the different shapes and then, just combine your best of the knowledge. And once you have enough hands-on experience, which I'm sure with the program and with the system that you have created, they can implement it to the execution level, as far as I have experienced your program. And it gives you really handy tools to figure out that what will work and what will not. So I think
and it's like learning any new skill set.
Right.
You have to work, you have to study it, you have to apply it. Absolutely. So the more clients you work with, the better you'll get, where you're able to just visually look at someone and start to analyze their spec style by just simply having a conversation. So it becomes a smoother eyewear styling consultation the more you do. In the beginning, you're learning, just like you would learn in color draping or learning what their clothing style is and how to fit the body and what do those fabrics look like and what are the cuts. It's a learning process to get there. But once you get it, like once I had my own system and got it, my business took off. So 78% of my clients come from repeat and referral business. So I'm only marketing to kind of build my 20% because the rest are just coming to me organically because of referrals.
That's wonderful, Wendy. I think, yes, once they would start working, they would also have that experience of getting the referral client. You get one and then it's just a domino effect from there onwards.
Yeah, and you know what? One of my mentors said to me, you don't have to be perfect, you just need to start. Because we can overthink, we can overanalyze as entrepreneurs, and we just need to start to do. And as you do, you'll learn, and you might make some mistakes, but that's okay.
That's true. That's true. All right. We have a couple of more questions here. So there is one which says, how long is the course and is it AICI certified? And so these were the course related questions.
So I believe the course takes about 4.5 hours to go through it and learn it. There's some quizzes there. It is AICI certified, and it's certified with ISIM too in India. So that's all taken care of. The other neat thing is that once you're involved with the program, we will have, there already is a Facebook page if you have any questions. We're also going to organize and hop on a call once a month for 30 minutes, perhaps have a specific topic, answer questions. So there's that support as you start to do your eyewear styling consultations in what works and how can we make things better, or maybe you just want to run an idea by me. So we've got that access to Sonia and to myself as you go through the program.
That's great. I think mentorship through you and those 30 minutes of online mentorship would really make a lot of difference for everyone who's enrolling for the program. The next question that we have is how much, now this is from the client perspective, somebody has asked, how much can we charge for this kind of consultation? So I'm sure the fee that we charge in India and Canada, it will be different, but if you can just give a rough idea about this.
Well, I have people all over the world using the program, so it is quite different. I can tell you that some people will charge like whatever they charge for a color analysis, and I know that can be different. It could be 150, it can be 250. I'm talking Canadian dollars. We'd have to convert that. What's an interesting thing is hosting a workshop. So I built the system and put it into this more formal for you to help teach image consultants and opticians. But what I found out was that I would host my own eyewear workshops. So I would actually be doing a workshop for 5 or 6 people and going through the PowerPoint that's in the program. And then like people were paying me. So I was charging $55 a person to do a 2-hour workshop. And I hadn't even planned to do that. That wasn't my idea. The other neat thing that happens now is I go out to corporations and actually speak about eyewear and fashion. And, I might partner with someone who sells clothing. And we'll go out and we'll talk about the trends that are happening in eyewear and fashion. Now, for that, I get paid like an hourly flat rate of $500. But I'm also, I'm going in, I'm knowing my audience, and I'm gearing that 1-hour presentation specifically to them corporately. But what happens is it's not about the $500. It's about the connection that I get to make with the 200 people in the room at these corporations, and how then they'll come back to me for individual eyewear styling. In your case, they're going to come back to you for color analysis, clothing style, shopping, all the other list of services. So eyewear is just one of those hot topics that we know what the growth rate in India, where was that stat? That's the growth rates there are way higher than here in Canada.
It was 70 to 80, if I remember.
Yeah, 78 to 80% of sales are based on prescriptions. So that's a lot of people. Right. And they did throw out a number that was huge about how many glasses per day are sold in India. But it was crazy big, so I wasn't sure if it was accurate. Maybe it is accurate. But there's a growth there of 15 to 18% a year. We don't have that kind of growth rate. We're sitting about 6 or 7%, I believe, in Canada. So it's a huge opportunity in India right now for eyewear. Like, it's just become fashion, or eyewear is that fashion accessory.
Right.
Everybody's wearing them, and everybody's asking more questions about what looks good. And more people are buying 2 and 3 and 4 pairs so that they have wardrobes of eyewear.
Right, absolutely. And I think eyewear, it's not just about the prescription glasses. Everybody owns sunglasses. So what suits them the best and what works, for them the best, we can always add on. And yes, in terms of fee, I believe when we do our one-on-one sessions and online session, we can work out a system, a number that works best for India. And I'm sure Wendy and I can always help you out in figuring out what your fee ballpark should be around. So we can always work that out for you. All right, we are getting a lot of thank yous. So
thank you for joining us.
All right, thank you so much, Wendy, for today's session and for such an informative session. I'm sure everyone learned a lot, and we will share with everyone who has attended the session today. We will share the contact details. If they have further questions, you can feel free to reach out to us. We will be launching this program. It is live on our page now. So if you're looking to sign up for this program, you can do it right away.